and welcome back to Cram Farms. It has been a long time since we have posted a video, but I am so excited to be back and posting with you all from the house that we built. If you're new here, my husband and I have two sets of twins, and we built this 960 square foot house over the past year. So today's video is going to be all about cooking breakfast ahead of time. We are pretty busy, much like yourselves, and so we need some things that are ready to go in the mornings, whether we homeschool, but my oldest two have cerebral palsy, and so we have a lot of therapy appointments that we travel to. So if we're traveling there, I need to be able to grab food and head out the door. But I don't really want to be grabbing just anything. I kind of want their foods to be well balanced and healthy. So today we're going to have some of those meals prepped and ready to go for the week, and I'm going to bring you all along. All right, so let me tell you what we're going to be making. It is the end of February, going into March next week, and I know that we're still going to have some pretty chilly mornings, and I want some nice warm comfort foods that are going to keep their bellies full while we're gone throughout the day. So we're going to make a scrambled egg and potato bake. We're also going to do some egg cups with some bacon and broccoli and cheese, and we're planning to do banana chocolate chip muffins, and if I have some time, we're gonna do an oatmeal bake. So those are all things that I can quickly add aside to, like fruit, or if I have extra potatoes left over, I can throw those in with the egg cups. And so they're going to be good breakfast that they have some healthy carbs, a good protein fat source, and they will be ready to tackle the morning. All right, so this is the same pan that I pre-cooked my bacon in this morning. So there's still a little bacon grease in here, which will be great for these potatoes while they're cooking. So I'm really just going to toss these potatoes around and this little bit of bacon grease that's on here. And that is going to help them to kind of brown up when we're cooking them. And now I'm going to add some seasonings. You kind of want the potatoes so that they lay in like a single layer. And let's get some seasonings on these. I'm going to use some Redmond real salt and just sprinkle it on. I always do, probably a little less, because you can always add once they come out. And then we're going to do some garlic powder. And on this batch, I'm going to do some minced onions. So I washed up an entire 3-pound bag of potatoes. And that's going to probably give me enough to be able to do 2 trays of potatoes. So this batch is going to have minced onion, garlic, salt, and a little bit of that bacon grease on them. And then the next batch will season up a little differently. So this batch is ready to go into the oven, and I have the oven pre-set at 375 degrees. And so we're going to put them in on the top rack, and we will watch them and just keep an eye on them until they're done, because we want to see a nice brown crispiness on there. So we've got that first pan of potatoes in the oven, and while they have gone ahead and started cooking, we're going to slice up the next few potatoes we have and get those ready. And I think I'm going to use some fresh rosemary, garlic, and salt on those. And because I didn't cook my bacon on this pan, we're just going to use a little bit of avocado oil to put on these, and then put them into the oven as well. So the one thing I do like is that the smaller you slice your potatoes up, the faster they do kind of cook. But if you like big chunks of potato, you can do that as well. We just put those other potatoes in, and I can already smell the garlic and all cooking. They smell really good. So this is the pan that I didn't use for bacon. So I just put a little avocado oil on here, and I'm going to spread them all around. I might have put a little bit too much, but hey, it's okay. That's our healthy fat for today, for this meal. And now I'm going to add some salt. That salt is sticking to my hands with the oil on it. A little garlic. This is just garlic powder. And then I'm going to chop up some fresh rosemary. So I'm just going to pull this off the stem here. will be really good on top. When the other potatoes come out, I'm actually gonna put some parsley, fresh parsley on those. So all these herbs have really good health benefits. Parsley is great for your bone health. All right, so there's a little bit of rosemary, and we'll just sprinkle that on top of the potatoes. So I have a box grater for grating cheese, but my absolute favorite way to grate cheese is with my food processor. It just makes it so quick and easy. So I'm just grabbing some cheese I had in the refrigerator. I've got a little bit of Colby left, and this is some extra sharp cheddar. We're going to get this grated up so we'll have it ready for our egg cups. So you just have to make sure that it's cut to fit down inside here. And we'll turn it on and let's go. See how quick that was? It would have taken me a lot longer with my box grater. Alright, so you may not think that's a ton of cheese, but that's enough for what we're going to need with these egg cups. Alright, so the next part of this is getting our broccoli ready. Now this is a bag of broccoli. I got a big bag of broccoli from Costco, and it has like 4 individual broccoli bags inside of it. And I guess you can put it in the microwave, whatever, steam. We don't have a microwave. I don't use it for that. But I am going to use this broccoli in our egg cups. Now I probably could have used my food processor to chop this up really small, but you will see it will easily chop even though it's still just a little bit frozen. I did pull this out earlier. Now this is such an easy way to get some good veggies into your kids as well. Throwing them in eggs is quick, easy. They're kind of tucked in there. My kids love broccoli. If your family does not, put it in the food processor might make it a little better because it'll hide it in there a little more easily. I should have pulled out my big cutting board for this. And if we don't use all this in the egg cups, I can just save it and cook it for dinner or something, like have it as a side for dinner. So broccoli, we'll push that to the side, and now I guess we should go in and chop up our bacon. Let me grab my other cutting board for that. Here, I had a pie plate sitting around. I was gonna throw some of our kitchen scraps in to take out to the chickens, but it will work perfectly for piling this broccoli up in. And then we'll just use the same cutting board to chop up the bacon. They aren't ready quite yet. Let's pull them out. Look at them. I like for them to be a little brown and crispy on the top. They're sizzling away there. And this is our pan that has the rosemary on it. They're not ready. We will actually flip top to bottom. You know what? I think my oven can hold both trays on the top. Let's try that. Look at that, it sure will. So now they both will get browned kind of the same time. All right, so we're just gonna start with this bacon. I cooked it earlier this morning. That way it had time to cool and all. And I'm just going to really kind of rough chop it. If your bacon's really crispy, you can probably just break it apart, honestly. So another thing I really like about these breakfasts that we're doing is that if you've noticed at your store that some items aren't available and your shelves are looking a little bare, I haven't noticed the produce department looking that way, at least not in my area. So if you're buying things like broccoli, I mean, mine was frozen, but I already had that in the freezer. But like the bag of potatoes, things like that. Now we have chickens, so we have our eggs, but from my experience, fruit, fresh fruit, things like that, right now don't seem to be in short supply in my local grocery store, where you might notice some of your prepackaged items are. I'm trying to think. Oh, the other day when I was going through things like the salad dressing aisles and pasta, some of those types of things looked kind of bare, but The produce section was fully stocked when I was shopping. All right, so now here is our bacon for our egg cups, and now we'll get started on our eggs. All right, so these are our eggs from our chickens. If they're really dirty, I'll go ahead and get them washed off. And then I'm going to probably use about 10 to 12 eggs in our egg cups. Okay, so we've got our cheese, our bacon, our broccoli. Let's start off with, get our eggs going. And I'm just going to break them in here, save our shells to give back to our chickens. All right, so that's about 10 eggs. We'll start with that and see what it looks like. We can always mix up another batch if we need some. So I'm just gonna whisk them up with a whisk. I'm gonna add a little bit of Redmond's salt. Now look, we just ran out of our Redmond salt. I usually keep it in like a quart-sized jar. So I'm using these little sample bottles we got at the Homesteading Life conference we went to a couple years ago. And I have on order some more salt for us. So at this point, we're just gonna start adding in our goodies, I call them. So we're gonna throw in some broccoli. We're gonna toss in some bacon. Kind of mix it all up in here. And I'm gonna pull out my muffin tin. If you don't have a silicone muffin tin, you've got to get one. I absolutely love mine. It's got like metal on the edges here, so it's sturdy, but then the silicone in the inside, and we can just pop them out so easily. I love my silicone muffin tin. So I'm gonna give it a quick spray. Now this is the Chosen Foods avocado oil spray. I love this little measuring cup spoon. And we'll just start ladling this into our cups. And I didn't forget about the cheese. I'm going to put this in like this. It's a big hunk of broccoli there. I'm going to chop that one up a little bit more. This one looked a little small here. I actually could have thrown a little bit of milk into my mixture. It would have made it go just a little bit further, but you can see there's 10 eggs with the broccoli and the bacon. It worked out just about perfect. So now I'm going to take my cheese and just put a little bit of cheese on the top of each one. All right, and then they're ready for the oven. So I already have my potatoes in there at 375. So I'm just gonna pop these in the exact same temperature. I'm actually gonna stick them on the bottom rack since I have potatoes going on the top right now, but I'm just gonna use my oven and let everything cook together. All right, at this point, they've been in about 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm just going to stir them around with the spatula. And you can see where they're starting to brown up here. So we'll just let them stay a little bit longer and then they'll be ready. Alrighty. One thing I really love about cooking the potatoes this way is that if I cook them on the stove in my cast iron, I'd have to sit here and babysit them a little bit, and I don't have to do that if I throw them in the oven. If I throw them in the oven, they're in there, they're cooking, and then I can move on to working on something else. So I really like that. Now, those egg cups, we're gonna let them cook until they're not jiggly in the center. So while they're cooking, we're gonna mix up one more batch of eggs because I have enough ingredients here to make another batch of egg cups. So we're gonna go ahead and mix those up and then they'll be ready to go in as soon as the others come out. Okay friends, sorry about that, but my battery died. I promise. All I did while I was changing out batteries was to let the potatoes finish up cooking, pull out that first batch of the egg cups, and I put the second batch in. So let me show you where we are now. All right, so here are the potatoes. The second batch of egg cups are in the oven. And I've taken out our first batch of egg muffins, and don't they look delicious? Yum. I have an egg cup thief. Is it good? Yeah. Yeah. So I'll show you how I'm gonna store those, and then we're gonna get started on the banana chocolate chip muffins. So I got these containers a couple years ago at Costco. I think you can easily find them on Amazon too. I love them because they're glass. We don't have a microwave, so that everything goes into the oven to warm up. So it's great for these to go straight into the oven when we're warming up our foods. So I'm just gonna take and put some potatoes in one, and then a couple of egg cups. And then what I'll probably do, because I have so many egg cups, I may do just a couple egg cups, and then we'll serve some with some fruit. But I obviously wouldn't put the fruit in there until after they're warm that morning that we're gonna eat them. So here's one done up. It's 2 egg cups and some potatoes, and then I'll be able to put the lid on this, and it'll go straight into the fridge. All right, so here's one day of breakfast all ready to go. So that I don't have all the same breakfast. Sometimes I get kind of bored and don't want to eat the same thing a couple days in a row. That's fine. I'm gonna take the extra egg cups and throw them in the freezer, so it's kind of like I've made an extra meal that'll be ready to go when we're ready to pull that out. Okay, so it's time for our next recipe, which is the banana chocolate chip muffins. We're starting with just 1 cup of einkorn flour. I love using einkorn because it's an ancient grain that hasn't been altered over the years. And so I also put in here just half a cup of organic rolled oats. So we've got some einkorn flour and oats. And to that I'm gonna add half a cup of just granulated sugar. I'm gonna use 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. That's really it for our dry ingredients. So we'll just mix those together like this. We're gonna mash up 3 really ripe bananas. When I went to the store yesterday, they were all really ripe. So I said this will be perfect for my banana chocolate chip muffins. So we're just gonna mash these up really well. That's part of the reason that we only use half a cup of sugar. When you add these bananas in here, they're gonna add enough sweetness to where you just don't need that much sugar in this recipe. We're gonna add the 3 bananas to this now. Now we need 1 egg. Since I just used that bowl, I'm just gonna go on and mix my egg up here and then add it. So we'll just, now we can go on and add in that 1 stick of melted butter. And then we only have a couple more ingredients to add. All right, that looks good. We're gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla. This is our homemade vanilla. Now we're gonna add just about 1/4 of a cup of milk. Mix this in, and then we'll get our chocolate chips added. All right, and now we're gonna add our chocolate chips. So, I don't know, about 1 cup. We're just gonna add the rest of this jar. So this is the exact same tin I use my muffins in, so it's already our egg muffins in. It's already pre-greased here. I'm just gonna use a large scoop and scoop these in. Well, these are great as a snack, but we're gonna use them for breakfast, and you can just add eggs with them in the morning also. Like quickly fry up an egg or scramble up some eggs and add a muffin to it, and you've got a nice breakfast. So we're gonna pop these in the oven. All right, so we're gonna pop these in the oven, 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. When those come out, we'll have just a couple more muffins we can put in. All right, so in just a little bit of time this morning, we've got egg and muffins with potatoes for breakfast this week. We've got muffins, the banana oat with chocolate chip muffins for this week. And the bonus to this is that I've got an entire bag of egg muffins that are going into the freezer. I have another batch of the muffins in the oven now, so those will go into the freezer too. So it's like I made 2 breakfasts for this week, plus I have 2 for another week, or if we want to just pull them out and use them this week, we can do that too. The bonus is that I still have some potatoes left over even after I did this. So I've got an easy side dish for dinner this week or lunches. I've got some potatoes left. I've also got some broccoli left. So I can throw this into a soup this week or fix that as a side dish for dinners as well. So thanks so much for joining me today on the homestead. I hope you liked this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, and I'd love to see you around here next time. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. See you next time.